Hey, welcome back. So, yeah, I lost 3 Mario episodes. Um, I was fighting. There was that volcano area. I think I just missed the whole. My audio didn't record for some reason, and I'm checking it constantly to make sure it's working. It's working. It's working. Okay. um, those Axum Ranger guys were tough. They were annoying. It took a long time to beat that, but whatever. I put one of my recordings in the first Metroid episode that I like because you couldn't hear me talking, but I was like excited, like, oh, can't you believe it? It came down to the last hit because I was out of pick-me-ups and I couldn't use mushrooms on Mario because it would only heal me 80 health, and then he would do more damage than that. So I just had to go for it, and I got it on the last hit. And if I lost, I would have had to redo that whole thing. It would have taken like an hour. So we're almost done. I think this is it. This is the last area. You get this star, and then you go to like a super last area, and then that's it. So the walkthrough said to keep Bowser, and I think there's a item area, or maybe not. Nah, whatever. We'll fight one of them. Do I get experience for that? No. I didn't think so. We're gonna maybe do a couple tiny notes so I don't jump in right away. I have a bunch of Old Testament notes to talk about, so that'll take up maybe 2 days. And I have a bunch of therapy stuff. And that interview that I took, I could talk more about that. I have stuff this week. And I'm gonna try to do Contra 3, but I'm starting with Mario. So I think what I'll do is I'll do 2 Contra 3. I'll try to finish this game. I don't know if I will, but I'm gonna do 6 episodes, I think, of this Mario and see if I can beat it in 6 episodes. And then I'll do 2 episodes of Contra. Episodes. Ugh. Videos. Just do the fire thing. So I have some tiny notes today. I already talked about this in one of the Metroid episodes, but I was thinking a little bit more about it. I mean, all I wrote down here was normal person nervous. So, but I know what that means, and maybe I could talk more about it. Is my audio recording? Okay, sorry, that was loud, probably. I felt normal person nervous during the interview. That's kind of what I like that term, I guess, so that's why I wanted to talk about it, because I kind of summed up the whole experience with that one term. It's not the... Yeah, I mean, I guess what I was feeling before was it was anxiety, and it was kind of... I don't want to say debilitating. It wasn't. I could still do stuff. But I knew it was different than what other people were feeling. And I know sometimes people feel that way. I always remember this Seinfeld joke where he says, you ask people, what's their biggest fear? And they'll say, number 1 is public speaking, and number 2 is death. So if you're at a eulogy, if you're at a funeral, see, this is why I can't tell jokes, because I just ruined it. If you're at a funeral, if a normal person is at a funeral, they would rather be in the coffin than giving the eulogy. That's the joke. What's this? I thought there was a shop around here. So I know people are afraid of, like, talking and socializing and speaking. And when I would have to do presentations in school, that's what comes to mind. And I'm sure other people who maybe didn't have social anxiety were still feel bad, like they would feel the same way I felt when they had to give a presentation. But some people didn't. And they thought they did. I don't know, am I being mean? I feel like I'm being mean, like, you don't really feel as bad as me. But I felt normal person nervous when I did this interview last week. And I was like, that's how normal people feel when they have to do something hard. Like, they're nervous, but they prepare, and they could still do it. But when I had to do stuff like that before, I had to, like that, what was the thing? The job fair at Rutgers. Every year there would be a job fair where I would try to get an internship, and I never did. I would go there for like 2 hours, and I would hate it, and I would dread it for like weeks going up to it. I didn't want to do it, but I knew I had to. And I'd just be like, oh, I'll be so happy when this is over. I just get it over with. And when I was there, I could barely do it. What I did, I remember, I was there for 2 hours, and I talked to maybe like 10 people. I would work myself up. They had this notebook, and I'd be like, okay, this is the person I'm going to talk to. Deloitte, accounting, or whatever. And I would walk around the whole area, and then I would go to the thing, and I would stand in line to talk to the person, and I'd be like, okay, what am I gonna say? I'm studying for accounting. Do you have an internship? And then they would talk, and they would give me the business card, and I'd be like, okay, I gotta email them later or whatever. And then I'd be like, okay, what's the next one? I would look at it, and then I would walk around the whole thing. Sometimes I would do it twice so I could work myself up to talking. And all I would be able to say is, I'm an accountant and I'm looking for an internship. And it would still be so hard to say that, and I would still have to work up to it, and I would still be dreading it for weeks. And then the bummer is, like, it felt really good afterwards, because you're like, oh, this, like, you feel like you're gonna die, and then when it's over, you're like, okay, I didn't die, and you feel like you just got sentenced to an execution, and then at the last minute, the judge is like, okay, no more execution, and you get to go home. I'm sure, I don't know, I can't say this, but it must be pretty similar, the way I felt about that stuff. Like, if I was actually going to be executed, like, how could I feel any worse? At a certain point, you're just like, okay, hopefully it's not. I was reading, this is going to be a tangent, but I was reading about this is the kind of stuff that I make. Like, I don't want to live. I don't want to be a human anymore, because I don't want to think about this stuff. Like, this used to happen. I was on Wikipedia again, and I was reading about people getting sawn in half. Like, that was a thing. That was a punishment. I mean, like, I always knew crucifixion was a punishment, and you think, oh, that's so bad. But these drawings, I mean, don't. Right, and the example they gave was like Caligula used to do this, and he used to eat dinner while people were being sawn in half in front of him. So, I mean, you always hear about Caligula, and you're like, oh, maybe it wasn't that bad, but he was. If that was true, I can't imagine a worse. Like, even the Game of Thrones villains aren't that bad. He would hang people upside down and saw them alive right down the middle. Why did I bring that up? I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about like the Old Testament and stuff like that, and I'm just like, ugh. I don't want to think about that. And then I'm like complaining about, oh, I don't like my job. Well, and I was thinking, well, that's the worst one, is down the middle, because it's like, if it's just across your chest, maybe that's not so bad. But like, between your legs and just up to your head, I can't even imagine, like, how can you do that? How could you be... I mean, I know the people doing it are like, well, if I say no, he's going to do it to me. But how can you watch that being done and be like, oh, whoops, I mean, we probably shouldn't have done this. This is too much. I didn't know it would be this awful. Like, this guy's screaming while I'm... I don't know. I mean, you must really have to have a lot of hate for somebody to think like, oh, this is fun. I like sawing him in half. He deserves it, or whatever. I can't even, like, for real. I mean, I know Hitler didn't do anything to me, but... and maybe some other people might hate Hitler more than me, or I don't know. But, like, I can't even imagine being like, yeah, I want to do that to Hitler. He deserves it. He deserves to be sawn in half. I don't know. I can never imagine. All the terrible things Hitler did. I'd be like, he's the one person I think I am mostly against the death penalty, but I'd be like, I mean, okay, Hitler, he can't live. We gotta kill him. But let's do it like I don't know, a guillotine. What's the most humane way to do it? Are we trying, if we do this to Hitler, like, are we trying to deter people from becoming Hitler? I don't think that's... If people are going to become Hitler, they're going to do it. I don't think sawing Hitler in half is going to stop future Hitlers. They know the punishment. They're going to... If they get... It's war. If they get captured, they're going to be killed. Oop. That was a tangent. Normal person, nervous. Do I have anything else to say? I just like that term, and that's what I'm going to use from now on to describe how I felt. Or how I feel. I feel normal person nervous, or I feel like anxiety, dread. And I hope I never feel that again, and I haven't for a long time. When's the last time I felt it? Well, I guess maybe when I was at work and I had to talk to my boss about something hard. Yeah, it wasn't like I remember in school when you have to do a presentation. That's like death. Like, you feel like you're gonna die. That's why when I was in college, I tried to avoid those classes. And it happened once. I had to give one presentation in college. And it was awful. I was worrying about it for months. But I remember that feeling. It's a bummer that I'll probably never feel this way again. But, like, when you leave, it's like the best thing ever. Like, it's over. It's finally done. I don't care if I failed. It's done. I got a C in that class. But I didn't care because it was over. I think that was my worst class. My presentation was terrible. A large part of your grade was based on this like 15-minute presentation you had to do. And mine was awful. It was just, we had a PowerPoint and I was just like reading off the thing. Anyway, see you tomorrow.